Thank you for watching our program tonight. Please join us again next time. Your generous contributions are needed today to keep this vital ministry on the air. Please consider a sizable gift now. Send your contribution to Photograph That Locomotive, Post Office Box 607, Orange, Virginia 22960. Do it today.
Hey, that's my church over there. Come on, I'll show you around.
Nah, you kidding? I haven't been in church since I got married. If I went in there, the roof would cave in.
Oh, come on.
Okay.
Well, what do you think?
I knew it! I knew it!
Even if it has been a long time, we have it on the highest authority that the roof won't fall in on you. So take a chance. What are you waiting for? The doors are open.
This is Channel 1, your eyewitness news station.
Good evening and welcome to Good Shepherd's Telethon 86. During this evening, we'll be seeking your pledges to meet our budget expenses. We'll have more about that coming up later on in tonight's program. As you can see behind me, our operators are ready to take your calls. On screen, you see our toll-free telephone number. You can call right now to make your pledge, or you may wish to wait until the end of the program to make a pledge. You'll have an opportunity to do that. During tonight's telethon, we'll be talking with some of the people at Good Shepherd about the programs of the church. That also coming up very shortly. But right now, it's time for a very special presentation of Masterpiece Theater. We'll return with more of Telethon 86 in just a few minutes.
Welcome. This evening our story continues as the Adler family is again challenged with taking seriously their Christianity and being faithful in everyday life. As you will recall, the Adlers are Christians and active members of the Lutheran Church. Growing in God's grace and in faith, the Adlers are committed to the task of putting their Christian values and faith to work in all the facets of their lives. In our last episode, the Adlers were confronted with a tough decision, whether to go to church Sunday morning or to stay home and visit with guests from out of town. Through the interaction of the Holy Spirit, they decided to take their guests to church with them and to share the joy of worship together. In tonight's episode, we see Mr. Adler and son Reginald discussing stewardship as a sign of one's commitment to God and the church. Also, wife Frances receives help from God as she struggles with her emotions after a confrontation with a friend. In the final scene, little Abigail offers a special prayer to God. And so, we continue the story of the Adlers.
Hey, Dad, can I have $1 for the offering this morning?
$1, huh? What happened to your allowance? And what about the money from your part-time job?
I've spent it. I bought those brand new pair of pants that I've been wanting, and Diane and I went out to the movies last night, and we had just enough money to stop off for a bite to eat.
I'll loan you $1 this time, but you and I have to have a talk about stewardship and your finances.
Are the Raiders on TV today?
They play San Diego at 4 o'clock. You always seem to have money for tapes or sneakers or anything else, but what about your offering? Lots of things are important to us, and spending money is one of them. Because we are Christians, Christ's mission is one of the most important things in our lives, and we need to support it financially as well as with our time and abilities.
I know.
This is more than money. It's attitude, commitment, and responsibility. It just doesn't wash with your mother and me that you check at the end of the week, and if you have any money left over, you give it to the church. You can't do that with your telephone or electric bill. Your mother and I are committed to the mission of the church, and we set aside money even if we need new clothes, a new appliance, or whatever.
I know. I'll try to do better with my money, but I want to support the church too, you know? What about that special World Hunger offering we had last week? Was $5 enough? You and Mom went to dinner and the movies twice last month, and the bill must have come close to $100. Do you think $5 was enough?
I guess you got me there. Your mother and I forgot about the special offering, and $5 was the smallest bill I had in my wallet.
The smallest bill? What about the biggest bill? Remember, it's attitude, commitment, and responsibility, right?
Right. You learn only too well. I guess our whole family needs to sit down and discuss our giving to the church and our Lord's ministry. When your mother gets home, we'll have some ice cream and talk about our faith and how to respond to God's love.
And I'll begin as Reverend Ward did last Sunday. Brothers and sisters, let us now receive the offering. Open up your wallets and turn to the number 20.
Welcome back to Telethon 86. We need to hear from you tonight. Already we can hear our telephones ringing. The phone number is right there on your screen. You can give us a call right now, or if you prefer, wait until the end of our program when you can fill out a pledge card. Right now we're going to find out something about some of the programs at Good Shepherd Church, and those programs are what your pledges help to support. Our first guest tonight is Carolyn Ward, who is president of the Good Shepherd LCW. Carolyn, thank you for joining us this evening. Can you tell us about some of the areas where the LCW is active?
Okay, the Good Shepherd LCW is active in many ways. I think one of the big parts of our LCW projects that we do is with the President Madison Inn in the town of Orange. We provide table favors during holiday times, and we also collect items for the Spouse Abuse Center in Culpeper, and this is done through the combined efforts of our Social Concerns Chairman and the rest of our LCW members. And along with that, we also have, we began a new project last year with sending care packages to our youth away from home, and we continue to have monthly programs that are done by our members, which is kind of a form of Bible study. And we also, I think one of the neatest things about the LCW is the support group that has been formed there.
Well, certainly a very, very active group of Lutheran Church women. How many members of the congregation are involved?
We have approximately 12 to 13 members in our organization, and I think that's a pretty good percentage.
But I guess there's always room for more.
There's always room for more, and I think what you could derive out of LCW is well worth the commitment that we would like for you to make to the LCW.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Telethon 86 is continuing. We're going to get back to Masterpiece Theater in just a moment. Another one of the programs of Good Shepherd Church is the Evangelism Committee, and Audrey Dyke is here to tell us about the Evangelism Committee. Audrey, come right on in, come right on in. Thank you for coming by.
Thank you for having me, Ross.
The Evangelism Committee is something new at Good Shepherd Church. How did that get started?
Well, I think there was a real need to help Pastor Bob get the lay people involved, and I think the key thing we're trying to do is reach out and try and get some of the inactives active by trying to visit. We haven't really done that yet, but I feel that we should be able to do this. One way that we will be able to do this is the Word and Witness classes that are starting, which will start in the last part of October. That's going to be every week, and we'll be doing Bible study, and that will include the Word, and the witnessing will come along with that, and I think that that will be a real plus for Good Shepherd.
All right, Audrey, thank you very much for coming by this evening.
Thank you for having me, Ross.
Mm-hmm. Our Telethon 86 is continuing at Good Shepherd this evening. We look forward to your telephone calls. I hope you can make a pledge either by phone or shortly after our program ends this evening. We'll return with more of Telethon 86 in just a few minutes.
I'm sorry she feels that way, way, but I cannot help or change what happened. Listen, my feelings have been hurt too, you know. I've got to go. I'm baking something. Goodbye. I'm not going to let this upset me. I'm not going to be angry. Darn it, I'm angry. I'd like to get her and a few other inconsiderate folks and line them up and let Rambo practice on them for his next movie. I don't want to be angry. I don't like being angry. But this whole situation is frustrating. And Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Come on now, give me a break.
Why are you angry? She's not even really an enemy.
I wish she would change.
Perhaps you should change. A few moments ago you told someone you were hurt, and you told yourself you were frustrated. That is why you are angry.
She makes me angry.
Does she? She hurt you. She frustrates you. Those feelings are what make you angry. In one sense, you are making yourself angry. And you've already told yourself you don't like feeling angry. And I'm afraid Rambo wouldn't help.
I've got to come to terms with my anger.
Stewing over it won't accomplish anything.
Beating on this dough isn't helping much either. Help me with my anger, God. Help me find the problem that has caused this anger. Help me find a solution. And you're right, I'm not the type to send in Rambo. It doesn't fit my values, the way I try to live by my Christian faith.
You must keep your values straight in this moment of anger. You are my child, a child of faith and love. Your anger must be made subservient to loving and being loved. You must find a way to move from being angry to being loving. Do you remember the time you drove the car for days, totally ignoring the oil light lit up on the dash, as well as the strange motor noises you were hearing? And then one day the car stopped dead? And do you remember how you had to call your husband to get you, tow the car, and install a new motor? Do you remember how much it cost? Do you remember how nervous and anxious you were to have to face your husband that evening? Do you remember the red rose he brought home for you that night, and how he hugged you and kissed you? You also know he was angry. He told you so, as I recall. But the point here is that he brought you that rose and hugged and kissed you for no good reason, other than he loves you. He brought you a rose even though it might seem you did not deserve one. That is true love and forgiveness. Indeed, a reflection of my grace and love made known to you in Jesus, my Son. Be loving. Be gracious to others for no good reason.
Remember who you are, Francis. Channel this angry energy. Surround it with an attitude of love and caring. Listen to God. Hello? I'd like to order one red rose.
We're back on our Good Shepherd Telethon 86. I hope you are enjoying our presentation of Masterpiece Theater this evening. We're going to find out some more now about the programs at Good Shepherd Church and see if we can learn something about the Sunday school program and the curriculum. And one of our phone operators this evening is Roland Anderson, who is also a teacher in the Good Shepherd Sunday School program. Roland, if you could come on up here, we have a few questions for you. Thank you for taking time this evening to answer the phones.
Hi, Ross. How are you tonight?
I'm great. What Sunday school class are you working with this year?
This year I'm teaching the high school class. They range in grades from about 7th or 8th grade up through 12th grade.
And what are they studying?
We have a really interesting curriculum. We're studying a series called Who Speaks for God. And really it encompasses any number of cults and sects and other groups and philosophies that claim to have some spirituality or approach to seeing the Holy Spirit in their lives.
And do you find a lot of interest among that age group for the curriculum?
Well, I hope so. It's building. I chose that because, you know, teenagers are at a critical stage in their lives when they're making a transition from being a child to learning to operate on their own as an adult. And I think that certainly the quest for religious meaning is a although it's not usually a paramount one in their lives at this time, it's certainly an important one. And of course, part of this telethon is one great way to reach teenagers is through money.
Right.
And that's what we're trying to get more of here.
That's right, and I hear our phones are still ringing. Well, what do you need to make the Sunday school program better?
Right now, we just need more attendance from children. So if you have a teenager at home, make him come to Sunday school class, and he'll have a great time because we'll do some weird stuff.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Phones are ringing.
Thank you.
Roland Anderson, one of our Sunday school teachers this year at Good Shepherd, will be getting back to our feature presentation of Masterpiece Theater as our Telethon 86 continues in just a moment. But one of the programs that is especially important to many of the members of the Good Shepherd right now is the program that is working on putting up a new building for us on Route 15 just south of Orange. Right now the site survey has been completed, the architectural drawings are being considered. This is a real good time for you to get involved with the building effort through the idea groups at Good Shepherd Church. And if you haven't heard about the idea groups, they give you an opportunity to work on some areas of the new building that particularly interest you. And if you haven't already had an opportunity to do so, speak to a member of the building committee and offer your assistance. Now, once we get a basic floor plan of the new church building, the floor plan will be looked at and examined by the building committee, by the church council, the congregation, the LC architect, and the work of the idea groups will all be incorporated into detailed drawings, which will then be rendered by an architect chosen by the building committee. It's very important that during this exciting design and construction phase of the new building at Good Shepherd that you not forget that the building must be paid for. So please remember to keep up your pledge of last year to the building fund. We'll now go back to the feature presentation of Masterpiece Theater here on Telethon 86, and this will be our final chapter of Masterpiece Theater, and we'll be back in just a few minutes.
I'm getting the sea oil.
I'll get the bowls and spoons.
I'll get the milk.
Is today Sunday?
Yes.
Shh, Mom and Dad are trying to sleep.
Let me have some cereal.
Just hold on, wait a second.
Are we going to church today?
I don't think so. Mom and Dad were out late last night. I don't think they'll be able to wake up.
I want to go to Sunday school.
There's not much we can do with the drivers asleep.
Let's say our prayers now.
No, Mommy. I just want to say my prayer for myself.
I'll just give you a hug then. Nighty-night.
Dear God, I'm sorry I wasn't in Sunday school or church today. I wanted to come, but Mommy and Daddy were too tired. I wish my feelings counted more around here. But you know that I love you, God, and I'll make it next week. God bless Mommy. God bless Daddy. God bless Sister. God bless Brother. God bless Grandma and Grandpa. God bless Kitty.
Well, we're back with the final portion of tonight's Telethon 86. Our operators are still on duty, taking your pledges for Good Shepherd's programs in 1987. Now, we can't do it without you. Our final guest tonight is Pastor Bob Ward, who is here to bring us up to date on the merger that's going to be creating a new Lutheran church. Bob, come on down. Thank you. Thanks for coming into this evening, if I can say that right. Well, what is the status of the merger of the Lutheran churches?
Well, it looks like it's ready to go. The Lutheran Church in America, that's our persuasion of Lutheranism, the American Lutheran Church, that is the ALC, and the Association of Evangelical Lutheran Churches, the AELC, all met in convention in August, and they all approved simultaneously the final approval that was needed for the merger for the beginning of the new church. So as of now, things are being set into motion that this new church will begin January 1st, 1988.
Well, what sort of changes will we see in Virginia or here at Good Shepherd?
Well, here at Good Shepherd, I don't know that we'll see a whole lot of changes right off. We will be working with some different mission people, possibly. There'll be nationally, there'll be a new division of mission. I don't know what it'll be called. And we'll be working with some new people as far as our program support goes. And Janet Cooper, our treasurer, will be sending the checks someplace else, perhaps, our benevolence checks. Locally, I don't think there'll be a lot of change in a significant way, but in the Synod, there'll be a lot of changes. The Virginia Synod will still be called the Virginia Synod, but it will be significantly different in that we will be losing all of our northern Virginia congregations, and that's from north of Stafford and all of, I guess, Prince William and Loudoun counties, and those congregations will be going into a metropolitan Washington Synod with the congregations in the District of Columbia as well as the other side of the district in Maryland. So we will be losing them to a different synod. So our synod will be, instead of approximately 175 congregations, will be closer to 150 congregations. So we will be a little smaller than we are currently. We will also be losing a small handful of congregations that are in the state of West Virginia near I-81, and they will be in a West Virginia synod. And then the rest of what's left in the state of Virginia will be the Virginia Synod. One of the questions that is being studied right now is where will the new synod headquarters be? It could be in Richmond, it could be in Charlottesville, it could be in Waynesboro, it could be in Stanton, and it could remain in Salem where it is.
Probably not in Orange.
I don't think it'll be in Orange.
Okay. Now what?
We have an airport, though. We'd be glad to have them come.
Now, what again was the date for the new church?
The new church will supposedly come into being January 1st, 1988. Towards that end, some things have to be done before then. In the spring of 1987, there will be a constituting convention of the Virginia Synod, where we will send our delegates from our congregation to a synod convention to plan for and establish the new synod, which will mean electing a new bishop, because Bishop Moore will be retiring, appointing new synod staff, electing people to various offices to get this new synod started come January 1st, 1988. So there's a lot of exciting and important things that will be coming up in the next year that have to be done ahead of time.
Okay, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Well, that's just going to about do it for our Telethon 86 this evening. It's been a very interesting evening. We thank you for your calls and pledges. Those of you who have not had an opportunity to call will be having an opportunity very shortly to make a pledge. Our assistants will shortly be passing among you to pass out those all-important pledge cards for next year. So please give your giving some very thoughtful consideration and help us in our programs. My thanks to our telephone operators who've been with us all evening long, and also our very fine studio crew. Till next year for Telethon 86, I'm Ross Hunter.